Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland and Arsenal podcast. I'm Gimli and tonight my guests are Fat Man Poop, ABW's producer and button monkey. It's Danny the GFP. Hello, Danny.
Oi, oi, Captain. How's your scurvy?
Not very good. How's your elbow?
Oh, I don't like to talk about it.
Can't piss out of it. Next up, bringing the class and the views of the Lady Gooners. It's Kate. Hello, Kate.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
I'm going to just say I'm good, thank you.
She's in a bad mood, folks.
I'd be suicidal if I lived with you.
She's had a shit day at work, that's why.
Dealing with them fucking Welsh. We don't mean John.
And she lives with Gimli, which is always a bad thing. I just, one day I expect to get a text from her work saying that she's chucked herself off the viaduct.
Good luck with that, because you've only got another 5 days.
Well, that is true. Next up, how do you know when you're a pirate? You just are. It's Kris Carpenter.
It's very good, Gim. Very, very good.
Do you know what? It took me ages to think of that.
By ages, you mean about 2.5 seconds-ish?
No, in real time, probably about 15 minutes this afternoon. That bad.
Well, either way, it is a pleasure to hear from you, as always, Mr. Gimli.
And how be thee? Is life treating you well?
I've had better starts to the year, but overall I'm all right. I got my health. That's the main thing.
Says that.
Ish.
Don't let the fuckers drag you down.
No, I agree. I shall fight on.
That's Gimli's words of wisdom. And if they do, heroin?
It's probably the option.
And finally, ABW's longest-serving panellist and an absolute gent to boot. It's Geoff Arsenal. Hello, Geoff.
How the devil are you, Gimli?
I'm not too bad. Last, but by no means least.
Yeah, it just makes me sound old, mate, doesn't it, really?
Well, the podcast has only been going for, 3 years?
Yeah.
May 2013.
Was I on the first one?
Yeah,
I was, of course
you were, yeah.
Yeah, you ain't got rid of me yet.
Go back and download it, people. It's good listening.
Actually, I go and have a look at the stats, and it's amazing how often people do download the first few ones still.
Really?
Yeah.
It's because they can't get enough.
They've had enough.
They want ABW running through their veins 24/7, coming in your ears Monday to Friday.
I bet the audio was a bit sore, wasn't it, back in those days?
Rough as a badger's arse.
It gives Danny the shakes. Right. Should we start the show then? As always, we shall start by going over to my lovely co-founder Danny to ask him what's the scores across the board, and have you got a loan watch?
Yeah, here it is. I did have it. Did all this. I got up today at about 2 o'clock, so I can get all this. I'm thinking, where's the bloody page? I was typing on it. No, it's my Laura Ashley king-size duvet sitting there, heater on, sweating like a Guantanamo, loving it. Anyway, Premier League, Carl Jenkinson, West Ham lost 2-1 away at Newcastle. Carl come on as a substitute in the 75th minute for the right-back Tompkins, who has stolen his place in the first team. It's not very good if our on-loan right-back is at West Ham and not getting a game. And I think Tompkins is a ginger as well, which makes it even worse. Anyway, all competitions, Jenkinson's played 22, scored 2. Serge Gnabry, there's been a few rumours in the papers, and I was reading one from about 2 weeks ago saying the loan has been cancelled. Then someone else told me that they couldn't have come to any kind of agreement on the loan fee, and then so they said stay there. But he's still there, doing nothing other than playing for the under-21 team, where he's got 1 goal in 3 games. And other than that, he's doing bugger all. All right, off to the Championship. Damien Martinez. Wolves lost 3-1 at home to Cardiff. Damien was an unused sub. He's played 15 and let in 19 goals, which, considering that's Wolves, that's not too bad. But as they got hammered by Cardiff, Ikmi, I think his name is, Nigerian goalkeeper, if he carries on like that, Damien will get his place back. Ashley Maitland-Niles.
Conservative.
Ipswich drew 1-1 at home with Preston. Ainsley was an unused sub, and then in midweek they lost 2-1 to the mighty Portsmouth of League 2 in the FA Cup. Ainsley started and scored a magnificent 20-plus yard shot goal from a top left-hand corner curler. Who saw it? I know Kris saw it.
I did see it, yes.
Did anyone else see it?
No. Oh, yes, I did, for Ipswich.
Hey, keep up.
Brilliant. It was superb.
It was. The only decent thing about that game, apparently. So he's played 25, scored 2 and got 2 assists. Chupa Chupa Apcom. and Isaac Hayden, both Hull City. Hull spanked Charlton 6-0, and that's with their 15th Belgian manager of the season at home. And Hayden started and scored his first ever goal for them. And Chupa Outcome was an unused sub, so Chupa's played 27, scored 4, that's all competitions, and Isaac played 16, scored 1 with 1 assist. John Terrell, bloke goes from better to better than better. As we all know, Derby County have spent at least £25 million this season, and Birmingham went to Derby, and they're probably the second best team in the league behind Middlesbrough, and they spanked them 3-0, ruined them 3-0. John started and played and didn't score or an assist, but this season 24 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, and he is bossing that midfield like a bossy thing. On to the sad news. Wellington Silver, Bolton Wanderers, £180 million in debt. Bolton went to Nottingham Forest and lost 3-0, but did have their keeper sent off after 11 minutes. Wellington started and did slightly less than bugger all. Midweek, Bolton played the mighty Eastleigh at home in the FA Cup replay, and they beat them 3-2, which, considering Eastleigh are 6th in the Vauxhall Conference, for people who are outside of the UK, that is the 5th tier of English football, and most of them in that league are semi-pro at best. Some of them players will probably be maybe £100, £200 a game, depending on how much they want to spend.
Still a bit more than Wellington Silver's getting in a minute. They ain't getting paid up in Bolton, are they?
They're playing him in coconuts. I don't know, you don't have coconuts in Brazil, do you? He'd be a millionaire. So again, he started and he didn't score. He's played 15 games, scored 1 goal and got 2 assists. I don't know who. I think maybe I don't know who he scored against. Irish legend Stephen O'Connor has finished his loan spell at the mighty York City. They were bottom when he went there. They were bottom when he left, and he played 4 times for them. So he's probably best out of there. Szczesny in Italy for Roma. Roma drew 1-1 and at home to rock bottom of the league, Verona. Verona are absolutely pants. Wazza started. He's now let in 32 goals in 22 games and only had 5 clean sheets in all competitions. Now, majority of those goals that he's let in were in the Champions League. So you take Serie A games and it's a much better looking record. Here we go. Get your hankies out. Yaya Sano goals. Ajax won 1-0 at ADO Den Haag. Sano goals was nowhere to be seen, not even on the radar, nothing. So I've been and had a little bit of a search. He's played 25 minutes of Champions League qualifier games. He has played 10 minutes of Europa League games. He's played 47 minutes in the league and got 1 assist. And he has played 3 games for the Ajax under-21s in the second division, which I think is called the Jupiter League, and scored nothing. He's doing wonders there. Finally, Gideon Zelalem.
Mana.
Rangers beat the mighty Livingston 4-1 at home. Gideon came on as a 68th minute sub. He has now got 8 assists in 17 games, and his loan has been extended for the rest of time. No, rest of the season. That was it. And then the under-18s, we went to Leicester, beat them 3-1. Fortune, De Silva and Morgors. And then we went to Swansea in the FA Youth Cup 5th round. Had a player sent off, but we still beat Swansea 3-1. Doniel Mallon, who is, you watch him, you remember you heard that name here, 15th, because many other people have mentioned him before. He is some player. That's a young Dutch striker. I think he's playing for the under-21s and he's only about 17, 18. It looks brilliant. Other Geoff played and scored, and Stefan Mavidi, who's a regular scorer, he scored. And the under-18s are now second in their league, 2 points behind Derby County with 2 games in hand. The under-21s haven't been playing and the ladies are still on a break. There you go. That's all I wrote.
Wow, that was quite in depth.
It was different.
I'm quite impressed with you, Danny.
Behave yourself. You ain't getting me into bed that. Oh, go on then.
Were we able
Actually,
to? Go on, Danny.
I was going to say, I found this. We need to get someone for slander. Is it Arsenal Archives? I think it is. I was just having a look for. Did a goggle on us? No, that's not it, is it? And I was looking at where have I put it? Oh, fuck it, I can't find it. It was reviews of Arsenal podcasts, and it says we have a fake homoerotic relationship.
Really?
Homoerotic? No, not at all.
Oh,
I
I have seen you take a man wash, but then again, so did half of Twitter. So.
Oh yeah, I was in the bath, loving every
Rob
second
Beckett.
of it. Fake
No, I don't fancy
homoerotic
you,
relationship.
Danny.
Well, I should fucking hope not.
Especially now, I've got Kate. She's got more than enough boobage. I know you could breastfeed a creche, but
Oi,
still.
behave
What?
yourself. I've been working out. I'm
Anyway,
buff.
we need to get. Oh my God! Right, we'll get back to football. Only one game to talk about this week, and that comes in the form of our 0-0 away draw to Stoke. I apologise for the puppy. Kris, if you'd like to start us off.
Cheers, mate. What a way to drop me in. It wasn't very good, was it? Let's be perfectly honest. From both sides, it was combative. It was aggressive. It was poor. I really can't say any more than poor. In hindsight, looking back at it, having what we went through at Anfield just a few days earlier, I think it's probably a point gained. I think some of the performances were encouraging, some less so, if the truth be told. Petr Cech did what he has been doing very, very well for the past 6, 7, 8 weeks, probably more in truth. And it's another one of those games that we're just happy to tick off. I think, in a weird way, we were a little bit of a hiding to nothing, because if we went there and lost, the media and some of our fans would be all, well, we can't stomach it, we're bottlers and everything. And we've gone there and got a draw, and people are sort of still saying, oh, well, these are the games we have to be winning. I sit on the side of the fence that it's a tough place to go. You've only got to look at Man City, Man United and Chelsea have all lost there this season. It's clearly a place that we don't enjoy playing, and I'm happy just to get out of there with a point, and we don't have to play them up there again, and it's a point gained, and if we win the title by a point, people will look back and say that was a vital place to get one.
And I think you should also take into account, Kris, as you briefly mentioned, that it wasn't a nice place to go, and we don't like going there. There's a lot of unhappy memories, particularly for Aaron Ramsey. And this game was no exception to any kind of game we've had there in the past since Shawcross broke his leg. For some reason, I still can't get my head around to this day how their player can break our player's leg and yet he still gets booed. I don't get that. So there's something, or maybe I'm mad. But Geoff, the main talking point of the afternoon was that there was no Mesut Ozil. We've really missed him, didn't we? For me, I think we lacked fluidity going forward, and we just didn't seem to click, did we?
No, you're right. I mean, it was a case of no Ozil, no party, wasn't it? I mean, you know what you're going to get from Stoke. They've got a little bit more quality than what they've had in previous years, but we haven't won there since 2010. They've been a bogey team for us, even when we have won there. It's always been a right tough fight. We just lacked that creative quality, didn't we? We didn't have. I mean, you're thinking about Cazorla, Ozil, and Alexis Sanchez. You've got three quality players there that do create a lot for us, and without them three, and midfield was a little bit, it lacked that creativity, that final ball, that cohesion, as the gaffer likes to say. But you know what, I agree with Kris. It was a really, really good point, and I do think it was a point gained. Like he said, they beat City, Chelsea, and Man United. We went close a couple of times. Giroud had a good header saved by Butland, and another one, the Ox. Oh, he's coming for a lot of stick. No doubt we can cross that, in a few moments' time. But Jack Butland, I think he was given the man of the match. I think in some places, although they had a lot of the ball in the last 15, 20 minutes, Stoke, I think we was quite comfortable. And it's a good point under the circumstances where we're missing a lot of our creative players.
I think you can look at it as well as we never. We lacked the creative spark because we had no Mesut Ozil, and everything this season has gone through him. Hence why he has, so many assists. But they were very niggly. We never got chance to really get the ball down on the deck and start playing because, every time we got the ball, it seemed like they'd foul us, and they just kept breaking the play up. Now, Kate, I know we were both sat there. And we could have probably counted 6 or 7 yellow cards that they should have had. I think their left back, is it Peters? He must have fouled Joel Campbell 6 or 7 times. And he didn't even get a booking, did he?
No, I was shouting and swearing at the television. Not that I ever shout and swear, but that's this one particular occasion I did. It was like he didn't seem to want to bring a card out for any of the Stoke players. And it was a bit like, well, what's going on? Because our players were getting yellows and getting barged over all over the place, and nothing was happening with it. It was just ridiculous.
And I think I always slag people off when you blame the referee, because football is a game where, as the team, you only yourself can win it. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't have to rely on referees' decisions going your way.
You never ever hear me bitching about the referee in my entire life as a football fan. I've never bitched about the referee, because if you don't want to have decisions made by the referee, make sure you don't have to.
I mean, did anyone else? Yeah, no, I agree with you. But did anyone else on the panel think that the ref might have left his cards at home? Kris?
It's a tough old one, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? I think these referees, they realise when you go to Stoke that the game's always going to be physical. But it's a tough old job, the referees, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Shouldn't they call a game straight down the line? A foul is a foul, whether it's made in the Norwich game or whether it's made at the Britannia.
Yeah, of course, exactly. But they don't, do they? It's quite obvious they don't.
Well, don't some of the referees go, right, fifth tackle, you're getting booked. So the first four, they know they can go out and kill whoever they want, and then that usually be 4 Stoke tackles on us. But then as soon as the fifth one comes, we may just bump into someone, right, yellow card. Too many referees do that.
Do you know, I hate that rule, and I'll say what really bugs me. This sort of invisible rule that doesn't actually exist, in that when players go to the referee and they go, "Oh, that's my first one, ref." It doesn't matter if you foul somebody and you stop somebody getting away, or it's a bad tackle. It doesn't matter how many times. If it's a foul, it's a foul. That being said, I think it was, Peters in particular was the one that stood out. He was very.
Joel Campbell did spend most of his time, particularly second half, on his arse.
Yeah, that would have been the argument for me. What I would say, and this is the one and only time I'll say this, is that the whole booing thing, and that it was the minority. I know there's been quite a few Stoke fans on their various forums and that actually don't condone it, and it has to be said that, in fairness, they did play a fairly good game against us, and they're never going to turn up and say, well, I think it was Charlie Adam, who of course is King Orc, but I think he was saying on 5 Live the night before that if you let Arsenal play you, then you will get played off the pitch. And I understand that, and I think overall it was a fairly even game, and we had a couple of fouls as well, and it was almost nice to see us stand up against them a bit, and it was kind of a nice thing to actually watch us be a bit more physical against the team.
And I think the thing that stands out for me as well is looking from the Arsenal team of this year and Arsenal teams of old. Arsenal teams of old would have quite easily buckled under the pressure that they put on us, whereas we actually stood there and went toe-to-toe with them and said, you want a game, we'll give you a game. Which I think, it's refreshing to see. And we've seen it a few times this season where I can honestly say, sides of old probably wouldn't have got the draw or the win, or we didn't win ugly. We couldn't win ugly. And I think now there's almost that belief there from Arsenal fans where we're actually doing it. A point at Stoke, I agree, is a very good point earned. Danny, you've got some game stats.
Yeah, just the basic ones. Possession, we beat them 56-44. Pass percentage success was 78-76 to us. Shots, they beat us 14-8. Shots on target, they beat us 6-3. Off target, 3-1 to them. 6 corners each. We had 675 touches, which is about average for what we do. I mean, against Liverpool, we only had 570. Passes, we completed 386 out of 495, and tackles, we beat them 11-9. So they had more shots on goal, but we had more tackles. Well, we'd have thought that would have been the other way around in a game like that. And then for the actual man of the match, that was... Why aren't you showing me man of the match? I know you have it on.
Why do I think Mertesacker got man of the match?
He did?
He did, yeah.
It depends on everyone, all the papers and all the different things. But on Sky, Mertesacker got it, and the commentator was saying it's going to be between Mertesacker and Butland, who I agree with Geoff that Butland is one hell of a young goalkeeper. He's absolutely brilliant. This season he holds the record for the most number of shots on target saved, was 10 against us. We played him in the Premier League, and we had 29 shots at goal that day, or on target, either at goal or on target, and he saved 10 of them. He was brilliant again. But yeah, Mertesacker got a rating of 8.2, and the next one down is going to be 7.4 for Monreal, who I thought was brilliant. Ramsey 7.6. And not surprisingly, Campbell got 6.8. Walcott got a 7.2. What game were they watching? It should be the other way around for those. I thought Campbell was really
Walcott
impressive.
for me, Walcott was poor.
The only thing I think about that game is that I personally would apply. I know Ramsey and Chamberlain were swapping positions from the Ozil hole and central midfield, or the Ozil hole and the Santi hole. It should have been Ramsey in the Ozil hole and Chamberlain in the Santi hole more often, because you can see this was a point that I don't know who was making this point. Who was on the radio show with us, Chris? And I was making the point that maybe it was Steve last week.
Tom was on, and Carl.
Oh,
was
it was
it
Tom.
Carl?
Yeah,
I think
it was Carl.
Yeah.
I think it was Tom that was saying far too often Ramsey goes missing and leaves a hole there, then other players have to cover him because he keeps trying to get forward. And Steve, I think, was saying this on the pod last week.
Yeah, he did.
There's a lot of that going on, because I think that out of those two, that the Ox is going to try and be more disciplined into keeping that the Santi role in midfield, while Ramsey just get up. And we saw Ramsey that season where he scored 17 Premier League goals. He was fantastic that season. And for me, that had been the ideal opportunity to play Ramsey there. I know they were swapping, but you don't really want to have a game where you've got two players swapping two completely different positions, do you? And I thought the Flame was good as well, got stuck in a few times. I thought he was going to get booked at one point, but I think the Flame knows this could be one of the last games coming up that he's going to be starting for a while.
No,
Gimli,
the rest of the season.
Are you going to touch on the Ox separately, Gim? Or...
Yes. It
okay,
was actually my next question coming up now. I was just going to say, quite simply, Ox got his chance through the middle. We've all been saying recently that his form has dropped, and that he needs to take his chances. Geoff, did the Ox take his chance in this one? Did he impress you?
You know what? I don't think he was playing in the position where he generally plays. I think the Ox done a good job, considering again the situation we was in. We was, always going to be under a little bit of pressure from Stoke physically. I don't see what anyone's moaning about the Ox. All right, he could up his game a little bit, but I think he'll play his way into form. He's a fantastic player, the Ox. I see a great future at Arsenal. I think he's got the whole lot. He's got pace, he's got power, he can dribble with the ball, he's got a great shot. He's not that great in the air, but I do definitely see him as a first team player for many, many years. And I really don't see. I mean, we go from player to player. This Twitter malarkey, they go. I mean, I'm still waiting for the great big midfield breakdown that we're going to have when we keep on getting beat because we haven't got any midfield players because everyone's injured. We said this about. They said there was all the experts on Twitter were saying about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And they said, "Oh, that's it. We've got the Coquelin's out and Cazorla's out. We've got no midfield players left. Let's all blame Wenger because he didn't strengthen in the summertime last summer." Well, we haven't absolutely collapsed. We're still up there. We're still top of the league, and the Ox has come in and he's doing a job at the minute. Of course, he's not playing to his full potential, but I think he will do. Given game time, I think he will get there.
That's a perfectly fair point. Kris, I know you've probably got something to say on this.
Yeah, Geoff summed it up perfectly and correctly as usual. But I just think that. I don't understand the sort of the blame culture that exists with some of our fans, and I have to say it's not. I don't think it's a majority. I do think it's a minority, but I think it's a shame because, Ox he's a supremely talented footballer, and I don't think a lot of people don't really see that sometimes players just go through spells. If you listen to again some of our fan base, we wouldn't have Coquelin. We wouldn't have given a chance to Bellerin. There's so many people that people always seem to know better, and I just think that people need to get off the Ox's back. The other thing as well is people don't know what goes through a lad's personal life. He could have anything going on in his life. It could be the smallest thing that sets somebody off, and we're all very quick to jump on players' backs without sort of stepping back and going, yeah, well, he's had a tough time, but he'll come good. He if you go back to the Community Shield and look at people's timelines, everyone was raving about him, and I totally understand why people are disappointed that he hasn't kicked on. And I think if you spoke to the player himself, I'm pretty sure he would say, yeah, I'm gutted I haven't kicked on, because he knows how good a player he can be. So I just think we should stand by him, and if it doesn't come good, it doesn't come good. Sometimes things don't work out. But I'm with Geoff and firmly in the camp that if he was a player at another club, I think we'd all still say that we'd like to have him at ours. So give the kid a chance and let him come good.
Oh, that's very nice. Gimli, what are we doing next?
He don't know what he's doing. I think he's gone off
What
mute.
are we doing next?
Apart from forgetting to unmute ourselves.
Yes, I was actually going to go over to Kate and get her to finish this segment off just simply by asking...
With a song.
Kate, for you, was a draw a fair result?
In the
Jesus,
terms...
That's a sound I haven't heard often.
In the terms of the fact that they had quite a bit of possession, yes, I suppose it was. But in the fact that it's Stoke, no.
Poignant. Right then, we'll look forward to our next game, which is Chelsea. So I want to talk a little bit about this. And first of all, the news that Ozil and Alexis are back in the team. Danny.
Yes.
We'll fucking skin them when them pair back, wouldn't they?
Oh, this is... we can actually intertwine a question into this lot if you want.
Do it. I'm all for mixing it up.
A certain Steve Mad Adman, never heard of him, sounds dodgy. He says, if Alexis is fit, does Theo Walcott go on the bench, so Sanchez and Campbell on the left and right, or would you bench Giroud, put Walcott up front to ravage John Terry with Alexis? I think Mr. Lord Hill would there on Twitter. I think that's a very good idea. Yeah. Giroud has famously not really got on playing against Chelsea because they're our bogey team. Someone else asks another good question about that. It says, is Arsenal's problem with Chelsea psychological? That's Carl James O'Reilly. I think partly it has become psychological. But yeah, I would play Sanchez on one side, I'd play Campbell on the other side, I'd play Theo Walcott in through the middle, and then poor old man John Terry will be lucky if he gets away with 2 or 3 own goals and a red card, because they will run them ragged. Am I wrong? Am I delusional?
I don't think you're wrong. Kate, how can you see this one going? I mean, obviously against Chelsea it's always going to be a tight game, isn't it?
It's never going to be an easy game because you can't... Although they have played shit this season, you can't necessarily assume that they're going to play shit against us because you know they won't. They'll come out there, they'll play to their best abilities, and
it will be tap dancing.
Yeah, that's Theo. He's a bit of a I call him Louis.
Theo's like he's like the Wayne Sleep of dogs. Listen to him.
No, he's the Louis Spencer of dogs.
That's lovely.
If you talk to him, he crabs. He walks sideways across the floor like he's doing...
Giving it jazz hands.
I just expect jazz hands from him to finish it off.
I think people like hearing the dogs in the background. Makes us seem more lovable than we already are. Go on, Kate. I was rudely interrupted you. You're talking about them twats, Chelsea.
Ugh. But I think it will be tight, but we're definitely going to win.
Let's hope. Is there anything else anybody wants to cover with Chelsea before we do predictions? Is there anything that worries anyone about us playing them at home? I think they don't have Costa. I think Costa's either injured or banned or something like that, isn't he, Kris?
I think he's got a shin injury from memory. I believe he's got a problem with his shin. It was a hairline fracture, actually, I think. But I have to give Mr. Nuski a shout for this, actually. And forgive my clicking. I'm going to look up his tweet.
He's taking over, even though he's not bloody here.
It was a brilliant tweet.
How about I read out their form while you're looking for it?
I've got it in front of me. But...
look at you.
Yeah, I know. This is what Dom tweeted the day after Diego Costa had his injury. It says, Diego Costa has had...
do it in the accent.
Diego Costa has had scans on his shin, comes back and they've confirmed he's a massive cunt. Which I thought was a stroke of genius from Dom. A very underappreciated tweet that was.
Read out his Twitter so people can follow him.
He's at Ozguna49.
But he's fucked if he's following anyone
Everybody
back.
needs to stop.
Why?
The Messiah has to say something, Geoff.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I'll come in about Chelsea. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about it, to be honest with you, because they are definitely going to raise their game. They're not going to be like they've been in previous matches against other teams that are a little bit substandard to them. You've got to remember they've still got that same quality players that they've had that won the league last season. You know what? I think it's going to be a tough game. We always struggle against Chelsea, don't we?
And there's always your money on Hazard to break his goal duck for the season. And there's always a drama. We always get either an offside goal or a dodgy penalty, or we get a player sent off. I mean, when's the last time we played? It must be the champion, the
Community Shield, but I think last 2 or 3 league games we've had against them, we've been missing a player. We've had players sent off.
Gabriel last time.
Yeah, Koscielny the time before that, and then Gibbs, not Gibbo. Remember the one on the was it Gibbo who got sent off?
Yeah, it was
Mistaken
Chamberlain.
identity, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chamberlain, so we've always. I'd like to be able to have a go 11 against 11 against them and have a decent game, because when we've always had 11 on the pitch, we haven't done too bad up until that point. We've had a player sent off, We're always in the game so much, but I worry about Chelsea because they are a quality side still, and I promise you, they're not going to play like that. They've done in the past against past teams and struggle. They'll have a right go, and he'll set them up properly, won't they? I don't think they'll be doing too much attacking. They'll just try and stifle us again.
Geoff, well, it will be well known as well that Cesc Fabregas will be coming back to the Emirates for his second appearance since leaving. Do you boo him or do you clap him?
You ignore him, mate. Just ignore him. Yeah, he was a player. Honestly, I love Cesc at Arsenal. I think he's, just on performance-wise, I think he's one of Arsenal's best midfield players we've ever had. He's another lad that had absolutely everything. And he was with us for a long time. He left us to go to Barcelona. It's irrelevant now. He doesn't play for us. We shouldn't worry ourselves about Fabregas.
No, that's a very good point you've made there. Right then, we shall move this.
Don't move it on. Come to me.
Go, Danny.
Yes.
Your wise words?
Oh, right, yeah. And the last 10 meetings between us two playing at Arsenal, we have won 1. We've 0-0, and then it was 0-0, lost 2-0, lost 2-1, and then we beat them 3-1, 27th of December. That would probably be 2010. Then we lost 3-0, lost 4-1, lost 2-1, and then we time before that we beat them 1-0 in 2007. So in the last 10 home games, all competitions, we've beat them once.
Well, we owe them then. We owe them, don't we?
We certainly do. But you have a look at their league form. They have away. They've played 10, won 2, drawn 3, lost 5, scored 11, conceded 15, and they are 15th in the table when you combine all the away games only. And their last 6 away games, they beat Crystal Palace 3-0, and then they drew 0-0 with Man United. Then they lost 2-1 at Leicester. Then they drew 0-0 with the N17 scum, lost 1-0 at Stoke, and then they lost 2-1 at West Ham. So the stats are in our favour for their form this season. Hazard hasn't scored a single goal.
When they've played away at one of the big teams, so to speak, I don't think they've done too bad, have they? Drawn.
Well, how about us at home? Us at home, played 10, won 7, drawn 2, lost 1, which was a shitty game against West Ham. We've won 5 out of our last 6 home games.
I'll tell you what's got to happen if we win. We are to win the win the game. No, we have got to score first. It's very important.
I think if we beat Chelsea, then I can stand here hand on heart and say, yeah, that's the point that I say I think we can win the league.
If that was any other team in that position, we would say we would beat them, but they're just such a bogey team of ours.
But I think also, psychologically, it would be a massive, massive boost to all of the lads concerned if they beat Chelsea. I mean, you remember when we went on that run a couple of seasons ago, and all it took was a win against Bayern Munich away from home. And that seemed to give us the confidence to be able to... Yeah, exactly. And, Chelsea, because of who they are and what they represent, and everyone hates them, a win against Chelsea could give the boys a kick up the arse to just complete the season like they did that season when they played Bayern. Right, we're going to move on. And because it's transfer window, we are going to include a tiny little transfer segment in every bit of the podcast.
Ooh.
This week, I've got 3 players that have been linked to us. Kate probably won't know them. Geoff probably won't know them. Danny is...
and Kris will have seen every game they've ever done.
And Kris probably would have tracked their career from the age of 4. So
3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kris, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A with you, depending on whether you know them to start with. Granit Xhaka, £37 million midfielder, Borussia Mönchengladbach. You can imagine for that kind of price tag, he's a bit tasty. I know he's quite young. Is he good?
He's very good. Yeah, he's very good. He's very hot-headed, which would worry me a little bit. He's combative. You know, he's strong in a tackle. He actually provides a lot more going forward than some given credit for. But there's a couple of things that make me think this won't happen, particularly now. He's the captain of Borussia Mönchengladbach. They are a team that are banging form as regards to sort of flying up the table since they've changed managers. And he's very settled in Germany. He's very happy in Germany. I know there's some quotes that came out about him saying he's spoken to Coquelin and and he's got his same number and he would have to get it off him. I think that's all just. I think he was just being humorous. I really, if he was linked with Arsenal, I'm sure he'd love to sign for us. But the chances of us doing it, particularly in January, I think are very, very slim. Maybe in the summer. He will move because he's a very, very good player. But
did he play with El Neni when he was at Basel?
They're
the same. Do they overlap?
Don't think so. I know his brother is still there at Basel now.
Whose brother?
Granit Xhaka's.
Oh.
Whose first name I forget, but I know his brother is still there. But yeah, indeed, Mr. Xhaka. But indeed, I don't.
Tolant.
Xhaka Khan.
Taulant. Oh, that's out of my memory, not off of Wikipedia.
He's only a youngster, but yeah, I mean, he's a very, very good player, and I think he's I think he's a sort of player that would improve us. But as I say, the defensive issue, he had a ban recently before the Bundesliga had a break in winter. He had a long ban for a challenge which was agricultural at best. He got agricultural. he got an accumulation of bookings. I think it was something like 7 or 8 or maybe 10 bookings in a short space of time. And they that in Germany they come down quite hard. I think he got 6 or 7 game ban. So his temper worries me, and he is the sort of player that if it's not going his way, he will just go around kicking the crap out of people.
But on the positive, Mönchengladbach, whether it's the chairman or the manager, have been fairly loose-lipped on this one. And I think they've actually said that they wouldn't rule out the sale of him, but he's not going to go for peanuts.
No, if we went to them and said, here's 40 million, then yeah, of course they'd bite our hands off. It's mad money. But I can't imagine, particularly having brought in El Nene, I can't imagine that the manager would want to do that, and the summer would be more likely if he is his sort of player. But like I said, his disciplinary his disciplinary record worries me, particularly when people were sort of like, we've got Flamini back and he was a hothead. Well, I mean, Xhaka is times 2, so it'd be interesting to watch. But yeah, the right price, you can get anyone, can't you?
Yep, you certainly can. We'll move on to the next one. Andrei Yarmolenko, £25 million striker. Kris, do you know him?
I do, and hate to disappoint everybody. I think he's off to Dortmund. That's the big talk.
We might as well move on to the next one then.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. He's a very, very good player, but Dortmund are very keen, and I think they've already opened negotiations.
Who's
for the
he play
summer.
for?
Kiev, I believe, Dynamo Kiev.
Yeah. And
does he heal like a dog?
I'm sure he's best mates with Arshavin. And it's as with everything, like we say in this podcast, if they play for the same country, they obviously know each other.
Yes.
Heel like dog, piss like bull. The last one, Kris, you're going to slay me because I'm going to do a Danny.
Oi, how dare you?
Adrian Rabiot of PSG, quoted price £15 million. Midfielder. I believe the player himself has come out and said that if a move would become available, he would welcome it. And I believe there's been some positive words from Arsene Wenger on him this week, but nothing to say that we are interested, apart from paper talk. Kris, what do you know about him?
Well, I mean, I've been quite forthright in my views. I'm not a massive fan. The talent is there. There's no doubting that he's a very talented and technically gifted young player. His attitude, on the other hand, is something I'm not keen on, and that's the main reason that puts me off the idea of us and pulling the trigger on this one. He was linked with Spurs last summer, and so that it seems strange that all of a sudden we're keen, but. Yeah, the talent is there. I think the only other issue as well is he's not really a defensive midfielder. A lot of people seem to think that he is. He's not. He plays for PSG in the centre of the park with Matuidi and sort of in behind him. So he's more of a creative, probably in the Santi role. So he might play in front of the defence, but he's not a defensive midfielder. And I just think that there's been a lot of stories about his mother being involved and claiming that his mum spoke out on his behalf, saying that he needs football, he needs to play. He's at the biggest club in France. He has played a fair amount this season, but his attitude to me, I don't like players coming out in the press and saying they want to move on. And he wants to move. There's no doubt about that, and he wants to play. But a loan deal seems more obvious to me. And I'll pass to Geoff because I know Geoff wants to have a quick word on him as well.
No, I think Wenger definitely likes him. There's no doubt about it. It was interest in the summer, but again, the PSG didn't really want to let him go. They don't want to let him go. They see him as the future. But Rabiot, he wants game time. There was talk of a loan, but I don't think Wenger wants a loan. If he was going to do it, he'd purchase him. And I don't think you'd get him for £15 million either, to be honest with you. I think it'd be a bit more than that.
You make a great point as well, Geoff. This is the biggest X factor in all this. PSG don't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And if you compare the Debussy situation, for example, where the player has openly come out and said, I want to move on, and the manager has come out and said, look, if the opportunity comes, we will let him go. So you've got two parties saying the same thing. In this case, it's the player saying, I want to play, I want to move, stamping his feet like a child, and PSG go, do you? That's nice. How cute. Well, you're not, so shut up and get on.
How old? He's only young, isn't he, Chris? Is he 20?
22, I think he is, from
he's
memory.
20.
Is he 20? Okay.
He was at Man City for a while in 2008.
He came through their youth, he was in their youth ranks.
We had 3 teams before that and then 3 teams after. But do we need another 20-year-old Sprog with potential midfielder? No, we don't.
Hello, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
He is, yeah.
But he would command game time from the off. He wasn't.
Well,
so he wouldn't.
But who would he replace?
That's the other issue you've got here. He's saying that he wants to leave PSG for game time. We've got Coquelin who started full training today. We've got Santi Cazorla who's not far behind. We've just signed El Nene. You've got Flamini and Ramsey.
And there's news on Wilshere as well.
Potentially Jack. Yeah.
Football Insider is saying that he's just signed a new. How long is the deal? Oh God,
4.5. Isn't it?
4.5 year deal. At 110 grand a week. Now that will run out in the summer of 2021. You're not going to go and spend £31.5 million on Wilshere and then bring someone in who's going to do a similar role to him.
No. I
what a
think
waste of money. We're not Chelsea. We're not Man City.
He's not going to play at the moment ahead of what we've got, particularly if Coquelin gets fit. And as I say, I could see him.
Who would he replace? Who's he in the mould of? Is he the Coquelin or the Santi?
He's the Santi. I mean, he's not. He can tackle, so he's not going to hold possession as well as Santi does. But he is good at intercepting, and he's got a good engine, as people keep saying about other players. So. Yeah, he would fit that mould in the summer, particularly if you're getting rid of Flamini, Rosicky and Arteta, then yes, he would be a great squad addition. But as I say, I still don't like the attitude. I don't like a player that comes out when he's on a massive contract at PSG and was whistled by his own fans less than 3 or 4 weeks ago. Let's not forget that. I don't like the kicking and screaming and to blame your mum and say, oh yeah, my mum was the reason that all these quotes got. Come on, it's your own family. You're telling me you can't tell your mum to shut up.
Is he the kind of player that as soon as he gets here, will have his eyes on Real Madrid and Barcelona?
It's hard to say. I mean,
he seems to sort though from the little. I don't know anything other than what you've just said, but he seems to sort always wanting more.
I might be wrong. They might go for him, and he might turn out to be fantastic, or he might turn out to be Lassana Diarra. It's hard to tell, but it seems strange to me that we would go after a player that essentially Spurs decided to pass on last summer. That's the bit.
I think he'd have done it in the last summer, knowing we was maybe a little bit short in that central area with the injuries and everything else. But I think it's a no now, isn't it? But he is a quality player. But again, is he going to? He might go from the frying pan into the fire because he's not going to get straight into our team, as you said, Gim. You know what I mean?
No.
So he's going to be in the same position again. He's going to have to fight for his place, and I don't know. But they was keen.
Exactly. I don't think he's going to be any better off at Arsenal than he would be at PSG. But I'll round this segment off by asking a question and getting all of you to answer it. Now, a few pundits have come out this week and said that because we have, as you've alluded to there, the likes of Coquelin in training again. We got Sanchez. Ozil was never really an out, but he's back as well. Cazorla's not far behind, like Kris has said. That with all of our players coming back, that we don't need to make additions in this transfer window because we have a strong enough squad to win the league. Now, Kate, we'll come to you first. Do you agree with that sentence? Do you think that we have a strong enough team and that we can rely on the players coming back from injuries to win the league?
As long as they come back as good as they were before they went injured, then yes. Because I think they showed that they have got the strength and the ability to win matches. So yes, I do believe that we could win it should he not go out and buy anyone this window.
Would you like to see us buy anyone this window? And is there anyone that you'd earmarked that you'd like to see come in?
To be honest, I haven't really had that much of a chance to look at any potential signings that we may make or anything, but it can never hurt to strengthen the team, can it? So, yeah, if he buys, all well and good. If not, we have to do with what we've got, and I think what we've got is good enough.
That's perfect. That's pretty much answered the question. Right, now, boys, we'll go to the rest of you. Danny, same question. Do you think... Go on.
Yeah, this is something me and Kris, like me and you argue now, all me and Kris do on the other pod is argue before, on the radio show, argue before, during and after. I think, Kris says, we don't need them, they're all coming back, but my argument is, what if they all come back, and then half of them go out injured again, and then we go, transfer window's gone. We said this last season, we are never going to get a better chance to win the title. Now, I would rather go out there and get 2 or 3 other players that can come in and do a job, or maybe even not do a job, compete for that position. I don't know who they are because it's so hard to tell nowadays, but I don't want to take the risk of going on February the 2nd, Ramsey getting an injury, Theo getting an injury, maybe Giroud getting a knock, and then I was going, bloody hell, the transfer window's closed now, what can we do? I want more players to come in to make sure that we win this bloody title, because we can't keep losing out in the final hurdle, which is what we've done for the last 2 years where we had a bloody good chance of winning it.
Yep. Now, Geoff?
Yeah, you know what? I do believe we've got a strong enough. It'd be nice if we could get a striker from somewhere, a top striker that could come in and make a bit of an impact. But I don't think that's going to happen, is it? You got Rosicky that's back. Welbeck's starting full training again. I think next week. Coquelin's in full training now. And we'll have Jack back soon, hopefully. I've said it from the start of the season anyway. I think we've got a strong squad. I think we've got a strong enough squad to win the league. And you know what? If you bring 2 or 3 players in, you never know what it does to the squad. You've got new players, and it just upsets it a little bit. It's like the gaffer says, he likes that cohesion. We've got a good squad in now. He's brought 1 player in. I think he'll be easy enough to integrate him into the squad, and we just head down into the wind and just take game by game. I think we're strong enough. I really do.
Lovely. And finally, Kris.
Not too much to add, really. I totally take Danny's point, and I do understand why people would. I understand why people would want us to sign more players. I would just say if the right player's available, and if something drops in the manager's lap, we've talked before on this pod about there is a summer where the Euros are coming up. There are players that may want to move, and we might even see something big happen depending on what happens with the Madrid clubs at the end of this window, which is a bit of an X factor. If the right player becomes available and he's of the requisite quality, then let's do it. I would say, and I'll give a little credit to Mr. Welsh on this one, if we do let Debussy go, I do have some issue with us having Chambers as backup. Not because I don't believe in Callum Chambers, but I just think we've spent so much time building his confidence to play the holding midfield role that to suddenly go back to saying, could you actually do us a job at fullback? I think it's a little bit of a backward step for him and for the club. So if there was an opportunity of getting in an experienced cover right back, somebody in the sort of a mould of a 32, 33-year-old, for a 6-month deal, I would welcome that. But no, I'm happy with the squad, and as I say, I do take Danny's point, but you can't. I don't think we can just keep buy, and then keep what we've got happy. And how much of a boost would it be to have a Thomas Rosicky, a Jack Wilshere, and a Danny Welbeck available? That's 3 key areas of the pitch that you've suddenly got options for, and that would be good enough for me to win the league, I think.
They'll be like new signings, Kris. Where have we heard that before, eh?
Indeed.
Right then. With that done and dusted, I realise we didn't do predictions for Chelsea. So if I could grab them off you quickly. Kate, if you'd like to give us your prediction first for Chelsea at home.
2-1 to Arsenal, and I think Ozil will score first.
Fantastic. Danny?
I was typing these, had myself unmuted, didn't hear the keyboard. I think I'm going to go 3-1 Schlobberknocker and John Terry own goal.
Lovely stuff. I think you should get double points for that.
No, don't, because then everyone will be predicting own goals the whole time.
But to be honest with you, you fucking need them.
Jeff? I'm still second bottom. I should rig it.
I think it's going to be really tight. I think it'll be 1-0 to Arsenal, and I think Theo's going to score.
What, not 2-0 Giroud?
No, 1-0 tight.
Oh, I know why that is, because today there's 5 planets aligning. That's the only reason why you're doing it, isn't it?
I'm coming for you, Jeff, in this predictions league. I've had it. I've shit's at the fan now. I'm taking it seriously. Kris?
I'll actually go 2-1. I was going to go 2-0, but no, I got this horrible feeling that they might score. So I'll say 2-1, and I'll say Magic Mesut.
Wonderful. And
so basically the same as Kate.
I am going to go 2-0 Alexis.
Hey, we can all have the same if we want to, Danny. Maybe
Hey.
Kate.
Not in my world, you don't.
But
Maybe-
if Kris has picked it as well, I might actually get some points this week.
Or none. That's the case.
I know, I'm rubbish at the predictions thing.
If you want me to, just to be different, I'll say Giroud then. I'll say 2-1 and Giroud just to be
He
different.
never keeps it easy for you, does he, Danny?
It doesn't. I've got 5 bloody windows open here. Hold on, I'll go and delete Sanchez.
I bet it's
Well, you're gonna shout one of
No,
us.
that's yours.
Hey, great
That's
words.
yours. Hold on, I'm going to go and I'm just loading the page for this. So he says Giroud. As for you lot to say, she can't say his bloody name properly.
You do realise
Coming from you.
the podcast is live recording now, Danny.
Yeah, I do know that. I'm just waiting. I was going to wait for our poxy website. God knows why it's so pissing slow.
Well, either
Just
way,
carry
we're
on without
screwed
me.
anyway, because you're next with the Twitter questions.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I think.
Hello?
No, the page still isn't loading. Right. Yes, Twitter questions. Right. Where are we? Oh, here they all are. La Flama Blanca. If we'd signed... Oh, this is a really good question. Why isn't our website loading? There's a conspiracy.
Because
Oh, no,
it's
probably-
cheap, like us.
That's probably Firefox being a tit as usual. La Flama Blanca. I really like this question. If we'd have signed Petr Cech back when he signed to go to Chelsea in 2004, do you think we'd have won the league before now? Whoa, Kate, what a question. Go.
Oh, sorry, was muted. That's a hard one.
It's bloody good though.
It is a good one. Yes, because I think one of our biggest weaknesses was the goalkeeping. But then, yes, I think we could have done.
So they bought him the season after we did the Invincibles, the last time we won the title, didn't they? Because if we won it in 3-4, then they signed him in the summer of 04. That was for the 4-5 season. We hadn't won the title since. I don't think our website's working. Oh well, never mind. Pay peanuts. Kris, what do you think?
He's gone for a wee, so I'll answer.
Has he?
Yeah, as he's put it. Read the chat box.
Oh, can
Get
I
with
have
the
a quick
program,
pee?
dickhead.
Oh, right, I'm only using 9 different windows trying to find out why our website isn't working and asking the questions.
All right, it's hardly a feat of Stephen Hawking, Danny.
Well,
Jesus.
exterminate and
But-
all that.
My answer to your question,
Yes.
without a shadow of a doubt, would have been yes. I mean, we all talked up Szczesny as, the next great goalkeeper. But the niggly mistakes and the below par performances really cost us in games. I think had we have had Petr Cech, we would have had a more resilient defence. And I think, quite honestly, we would have won the league.
Geoff, taking that into consideration and the fact that Chelsea wouldn't have had him and then their 3 titles they'd have won, they might not have won. How many do you reckon we'd have won?
I think we'd have definitely won it at least once. That season, pardon me, that Birmingham season, the calming effect. Was Szczesny in goal at that stage, or was it aluminium?
Oh.
Yeah, Szczesny wasn't.
Szczesny,
It was
wasn't
the
it?
year. It was the year of the final, wasn't it, at Wembley, where they fucking cocked it up.
Yeah, well, I think he made a few cock-ups through the season, didn't he? But we put it down to youthfulness and stuff like that. But, I mean, I've been really surprised with Petr Cech, I must admit. I think he's been unbelievable.
Surprised that he joined us.
No, just surprised that he. I was a little bit concerned that where Mourinho had him on the bench, and at a couple of games I did see him play for Chelsea. I think one cup game he made a ricket, and I thought to myself, maybe this check ain't. Maybe this Mourinho does see something that he maybe
up again.
Yeah, well, no, I just thought to myself, but I mean, he's been unbelievable. Give him fair play for the fella. He's proved me wrong for sure. Not that I didn't want him, but I just thought to myself, is he as good as what they say he is, and is he going to improve us? Because the other fella was a goalkeeper. I've almost forgot about him already now. Ospina, yes, he did a great job when he came in for 6 months, didn't he? He was doing well, but he's been brilliant, and I definitely think that he would have, in the prime of his career, if he was at Arsenal, would have definitely won the league.
But thing is, though, you can see how much of a difference a goalkeeper makes to a team, because if it wasn't for David De Gea last year, where would Man United have finished?
Yeah, true, very true.
How many games was he man of the match and he saved them? I mean, I know he can't score goals. He's a goalkeeper, but he can certainly keep them in the game. And I think, you start your team with a world-class goalkeeper, and on that you can build a solid foundation of a pretty shit-hot team.
Kris, 2 things. First of all, have you washed your hands?
I have indeed.
Ah, good.
Always do, Danny.
Do you?
Yep.
Gimli washes them in the toilet bowl. He thinks that counts. I say it doesn't.
I dry them by putting them down my underpants.
Ah, chocolate fingers.
No.
Did you hear? Too late. Dropped you in it. Kris, did you hear the question?
I didn't. No, but feel free to.
This is a fantastic question from La Flama Blanca. If we'd have signed Czech instead of Chelsea back in 2004, do you think we'd have won the league by now?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it?
That's what I said. It's wonderful.
Yeah, go back to 2004. I mean, that's 12 years. Yes, I do. I think we, particularly if you look at the season, I think we spoke off air about the Eduardo season, where, if I'm not mistaken, God bless him, Manuel cost us a goal at Birmingham in that very game, actually, where he came marauding up to the edge of his box, and Super Kevin Phillips nodded in the goal that ultimately was one of the goals that cost us the title that year. So, yeah, I do. And that, however bad that defence was at the time, Jack would have made it better. So, yeah, we might even have won it once or twice.
Oh, good. There you go. Right. I was trying to get on our website. It's finally loaded. This is what we pay. How much did I tell you I pay? I think it's £45 a year for hosting. Right. Anyway, Prediction League. This doesn't include the Stoke games. Finally, top of the league is Mr. Geoff Arsenal with 38 points.
Fix.
He has
gone back to the top. See, I'll let you.
It's a fucking fix, Geoff.
Well, I want my trophy back, mate.
He doesn't even make a prediction half the time.
I know, he's standard. He said it's 2-0 Giroud, but he's changed it recently to a standard of 2-1 Giroud until further notice, isn't it, Geoff?
That's cheating.
No, it isn't.
Not cheating, mate.
No. He's a busy man. He ain't got time to deal with the riffraff like us.
At least think outside the box.
Well, it can be any score, can't it, mate? Ain't always got to be 2-1 Giroud.
Oh,
don't
say that's cheating.
Anyway,
I've changed it a few times, but I've changed it this week.
Today. That's it. He's on the ball. Hatred will get you nowhere, Gimli. Second place is the Reverend Raj on 35 points. So how's he cheated then? How's Raj cheated?
Well, he's a man of the cloth, isn't he?
He has a word with him upstairs, and he knows what's going on.
What he's done is he's had a word with God. God's helped him out.
So what am I on? 38, Danny?
38. Well, that's without the Stoke ones. So I think some of you have got a point or two for that.
Where am I?
Raj is on 35. Gimli was on 30, but he had a 20-point deduction for making shit up about Geoff. So until he apologises, he's on a 50-point deduction, so he's on minus 20.
I'm sorry. Can I have my points back?
There's a bit of Welsh Justice in 4th on 29. A bit of American Justice in 5th on 27. The Radio Boys are next with 24. The Listeners with 23. Kate with 23. Fife 23. Bloggers in with 20. Kris with 20. Me with 17. And Aussie Dom 6.
Well, if I was Dom, I'd just give up on life.
Hey, Danny, did Dom get his points last week for his first goal scorer being... What was it?
Some
Liverpool
cunt.
twat. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, yeah, that's what you put. Some Liverpool wanker. So now you got 1 point for a draw. But then I think Kris got a point for a draw against the Stoke one. But we've the last person to get 5 points was... Oh, here we go. If you don't care about this, then just fast forward this bit. It's been a while since anyone's got 5 points. Oh, here we go. We got one. Geoff 2-0 Giroud against Villa.
Oh, see, piss off.
And Raj also got 2-0 Giroud for Villa.
That just shows the level of like what we're dealing with here.
Gerrymandering.
It's been a bit of bladderisation.
I tell you what, whoever told me cheats don't prosper, they fucking lied.
Right, get this thing back on.
Well, you're asking the questions.
I know.
Oh,
right, Pete Gooner. He always comes up with some decent questions. What's your main reason why you hate Chelsea? Go on, Geoff.
I live up the road from them, and I just hate everything about them. I've had to suffer them all through their good times over the last 10, 12 or whatever longest years, and I just don't like the club. Simple as that. Horrible.
Can I go?
Go on, Gim.
Racist, glory hunting cunts. I'm done.
Kate?
Arrogant.
Deluded.
Deluded, yeah. Horrible, chavvy cunts. And my dad was a Chelsea fan, so that also gives me reason. And the dog's mincing, so he's probably a Chelsea fan as well.
Is he doing his jazz hands?
He is.
Yes. See, the funniest thing is, right, they think the world owes them a favour. What they actually fucking forget is they were really only set up in 2004. They're a small club that has no history. How the fuck they won the Champions League is beyond me. But in levels of delusion and living in the past, they're up there in the scale of Liverpool fans.
Oh, it's breaking news, Geoff. In the podcast group, they're all putting pictures of their watches, Fife and Raj, so I think you need to go and show them yours and shut them up.
No, I'll let them crack away with that, mate. So I'll have to have a look at that WhatsApp group. It'd be interesting to see what they've got.
Yeah, it is. Geoff's got a lovely one that can do. It's a digital one, a smartwatch. It does all the faces, so he keeps convincing us that he's got real. Like the who's the one who spot the Arsenal one, the Arsenal watch. Pierre Luigi.
Richard.
That's him. I know it's something French. Right, who hasn't answered this and why they hit off? In fact, I hate them because they're shit, and I remember them as a second-tier team. And 1988 was the last time they got relegated, and that time they had a higher point per game average than they do now. But shamefully, they're not going down because Villa is shit. Chris?
Just all of the above. I mean, it's the main reason that we hate them is just the fact that they were the first club to come in and essentially buy a championship. You know, it hadn't really been done. Okay, Blackburn, sort of, you could argue that Jack Walker's millions helped them, but
at least he was a nice bloke.
Well, yeah, and at least, you know, with Blackburn there was a degree of dignity, and it was a hard-fought championship, and, you know, they didn't just go out and go, right, we'll just buy players, and even if they're crap within 2 weeks, we'll sell them. You know, they stuck by that squad, and they built a squad. So, yeah, it's something that doesn't sit comfortably about it, and it's essentially led to the breeding of other vile creatures, particularly in the Manchester area. So, you know, you can hate on Man United as much as you like, but at least they made a lot of their money rather than just getting pumped in and, you know, getting where they are. So Chelsea there's a lack of class about a lot of their fans as well, which, you know, you can't teach class, can you? You've either got it or you haven't.
Did you see that last bloke? They've just got rid of him. His entire Chelsea career was 3 minutes.
There you go, says it all, doesn't it? And instead of giving Patrick Bamford a go, they look to sign Alexandra Pato, which is just, yeah. I mean, you know, there's with Chelsea, it's always, but you know, we're doing this. No, you're not. You know, they just want to win everything, and this year, luckily, it's come home to bite them on the ass.
But don't you think the whole irony of what happened when, of course, you know how they came into the money and they had Ranieri as the manager and they painted the dream to all of their fans and they treated Ranieri like absolute shit. I think there's a certain sense of irony there that the 1 year that they can't buy a win, his team is fighting for the championship. I love that. When Leicester beat Chelsea, I had such a massive smile on my face just because as a manager, I quite like Ranieri. I think he's a nice guy. But it's just the Chelsea fans, you love to hate them. They're still not up there with Spurs fans, don't get me wrong, but I love to hate them.
You can tell how long someone's been following the club by who they hate the most. For me, it's Spurs, then it's Man United, then it's Chelsea. a lot of fans will go, it's Chelsea first.
Yeah, I'll go with you, Danny.
I don't mind United because I've always, although they've been our rival.
Yeah. Well, I see one as geographical rivalry, one as trophy rivalry, and one because they're scum.
United are a proper football club. Whatever you think of them, and you look back now, and I hated Ferguson with a passion, but it was a hate out of admiration in a weird kind of way. It was a hate of sort of, how can you be so damn good? And United fans. Yes, some of them are a bit odious, particularly the ones that come from London. But no, I at least with United, there's a proper history there. There's a proper proud tradition, and taking this season apart, they did often play some very good football, and they beat us fair and square on a number of occasions. So you could sort of go,
Also
well,
cheated.
Well,
But
yeah,
there was never a more entertaining game in the years when we were challenging them for the title than Arsenal Man United. You knew that when those two teams stepped on the pitch with Keane and Vieira, you knew that you were in for a football match.
Yeah, they'd go toe to toe, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and you've got to respect them for that.
And the fact that Mourinho, I think that's where a lot of Arsenal's hatred of Chelsea comes from as well, is Mourinho, because he showed utter lack of class with the manager, our manager that is, and fair play to us, and I'm sure he could write a book alone on what he thinks of that bloke, but he always kept his dignity, and aside from the pushing match, which that was something and nothing. I think Ferguson and Wenger had a heated rivalry, but there's respect there. There's
Bottle
genuine
of wine after every game.
Yeah, genuine admiration, and you if you read Ferguson's book, you can hear that it was a respect and it was a proper footballing rivalry. Whereas Mourinho, there was just any underhanded tactic to get an advantage, and that's just classless.
One thing you got to remember as well is only to realise how Ferguson was, and I hated Ferguson at the time. Now he's retired and he's no longer really in football. You got to show the level of respect there. But if anything shows you just how good he was at his job, it's when he won his last title at Man United with that team. You look at what Moyes took over and what he did with it, and it was just like two different teams. How we won that league that year that he left, I never be able to tell you.
Beginning with R, ending in
our
P.
captain, yeah. He bought our captain, and then he got out while his legacy was intact, and I don't really blame him, to be perfectly honest. I mean,
it was the right time. But this isn't a Man United podcast. Danny, let's have the next question.
Certainly. From Kurt Ice, always comes out with a couple of corkers. Per Mertesacker, which top EPL side, he must be American, which top Premier League sides could he walk into and make an impact? Kate.
Who are we talking about?
Per Mertesacker. Is that which? He says top, but which half decent Premier League teams do you reckon he'd walk into and make an impact?
Liverpool.
I don't mean because he's big and he'll knock stuff over.
Liverpool, because they're missing defenders right now.
They've got Kolo Toure.
Oh well.
Happy 21st, Kolo, if you're listening. I don't know how old he is. Leicester.
He's like
I think he could walk into Leicester right now. Yeah, I think he'd do a job for them.
Man City need a central defender. They've only got one.
I think Man United as well. Saying that, I think you look at the level of defenders that are at Man United. I quite genuinely believe that he could go in there and be a world-class captain.
There you go. Anyone else want to go on this before I move on?
Walk into any side in the Premier League right now, in my opinion. Do you think Man City would turn him down without the illustrious Vincent Kompany?
He still doesn't rate Kompany.
No, I don't. Well, no, I wouldn't say
I'm going to send you a poo in the post.
I wouldn't say I don't rate him. I just think that he's massively overrated. But no,
by everyone on the entire fucking planet.
Do you think Chelsea would take him over an aging John Terry or a dodgy
Asian John Terry? They wouldn't have that at Chelsea. Oh, sorry.
Or a dodgy Gary Cahill. I think he's class. I mean, these people that say he's finished, I understand why they say it. I understand it. Yeah, he's slow. Well, he always has been. He's not going to get faster, is he?
He's not got the pace, but Kris, technically, he is an awesome defender.
He's a very underrated passer from the back as well. That's something that a lot of people don't always notice, because Koscielny likes to carry the ball. Per is a very good distributor of the ball from the back, even if it's just down the line, or very rarely does he pass short. So he's class, and he speaks very well. He's a good representative of the club, and he's a German international with 100+ caps. He can't be doing too much wrong, can he?
And he quit international football to prolong his career, his club career, which is always a genius thing to do, which I liked. Geoff, wise words?
I think he'd get in most teams. Yeah, why not? Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Good, short and sweet. That's what I like. Okay, next one. Rory, who is cheekily at RoryBear7. Oh, Rory Bear. Big hugs to Rory Bear. To what extent do you think Ozil will break Thierry Henry's assists record? Now, before we started the pod, I was asking, and this may well be in the extras because I can't remember what I recorded and what I didn't. I was saying, has anyone ever gone back and looked at all the old Arsenal games and worked out all the assists? Because I don't remember anyone caring about assists until the Premier League started. So how are you going to work out people before Henry, how many assists they got? Like Stevie Williams used to get quite a few for Arsenal, and all the other players like Paul Davis, he'd have got a few, and Marwood had and Limpar, all these brilliant ones. So I don't know if anybody is going to work out those older ones, but does anybody know how many assists Thierry Henry has? And how many Ozil has in total? I'm going to have a look on Wiki while I'm talking.
In total is a toughie.
I think he used to get 18 a season or something like that, Henry, didn't he?
The record was 20, Geoff.
Yeah, 30 goals and 15 to 18 every single season. Brilliant.
The English wiki doesn't have it, but sometimes if you go to a French one or Italian one, they sometimes have the assists. So keep talking amongst yourselves about it. Oh, there you go. I knew it would have a PD. What does that mean? This says passes divisive. That must mean assists. So for Arsenal, he has got... Oh, scroll all the way across. 108. He's 451 games. Does that include these other ones? Oh, no. They've not added the two together. Add 7. No, he didn't get any assists when he come back on loan. So 108 assists. And who are we talking about? What player was it?
Ozil.
Mesut Ozil. I've already tweeted people and told them that I'm losing the plot a little bit. So I said I'm going to leave these bits in because it's funny. Oh, why don't they include the assists? You tits. Oh, dear. Right, they have to go and... How do you say German in German? What do they say?
Deutschland.
Ah, there you go. See if it is in Deutsch. No, they don't even have his bloody career there. Oh, it's a disaster. What am I going to do? Well, we know Thierry Henry's got 108. I think, assists this year, I think Ozil's got 16. Has he got a Premier League assist this season?
He's on for the record in a season, isn't he? So
yeah, I believe he's on 16.
Hasn't he got 50 odd in his Arsenal career already?
Sounds about right, yeah.
55 or something like that.
And he's got.
So your question is, will he surpass Thierry Henry in assists? Yeah, I think he'll do it in half the time.
Well, yeah, because Henry did it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. Yeah, Mesut's about to finish his 3rd. So if he's halfway after 3, I reckon the odds are. He's only getting better, isn't he? You look how many he's got already.
I bet he don't score as many goals, though, Dan.
only 264, I think. Yeah, 264 because he got 2 when he come back on loan. Yeah, so that's So going round, Gimli, will he break Henry's record?
Yes, easily.
Kate.
No doubt. Easily.
And Kris, what did you say? You said yes, didn't you?
Yeah, I think he will, yeah.
Yeah, and Geoff said yes, and I think yes. So there you go, that's a good question. Wish I'd have read that before, I'd have gone and got the stats, but you know me, unprepared. Ahmed Nada says, is it unfair that Ox gets the nod over players like Iwobi when his form has been horrible? Kate?
No, because I think Ox on his day can be a complete match turner and he can win the match. Theo, stop it.
I was going to say, tell showgirls to put a sock in it.
No, I think you have to pick. Oh, I can't even concentrate.
I can imagine him just going sideways, looking at you for attention. Look at me, I'm going sideways.
He is staring at me and waggling his tail whilst wiggling his bum at the same time and tapping his back feet.
But how many is he a father to? Loads, about 20?
Yes,
dirty
17,
boy.
No, 18.
Yeah, 18. He's fathered 18 things, and they'll probably all turn out to be as gay as him.
Oh, I hope not. We've got one of them.
We're not keeping any of them.
Well, we've got Dom, though.
Don't bring that name up again. That bloke's taken over this pod, and he's not even pissing here.
It's a girl with a boy's name. I think the problems start there.
So, Kate, what do you reckon?
No, I don't think that Iwobi or anyone like that should be picked. I think Ox should always be picked because he can change the match. And on his day, when he's in form and not still a bit match unfit, then yes, always pick the Ox.
Geoff?
Yeah, I think the Ox is definitely, Iwobi, he looked promising when he comes on, but no, he's got the experience. The Ox, top player, I like him.
Kris?
Yeah, same. You can't risk. Iwobi's just a kid, and however much talent he's got, you always stick with your tried and trusted. And as we mentioned too earlier, I think he's one good game or one key pass or one good performance away from clicking back into gear. I think so. You stick with what you know has done the business.
Plus, he's more versatile, isn't he? You can play him either wing, in central midfield, or in the Ozil hole. You can't do that with Matey Boy because Iwobi has been playing on the left side, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's not to knock Iwobi because
he's got an assist.
He's got who is it? Somebody said in our group the other day that he's got Kanu legs. He's very, he's very rangy and lanky, and you could see when he came on the other day against Stoke that he presented a bit of an X factor, something a bit different that teams weren't prepared for, and he might play important part in the running, a sort of a Christopher Ray-esque part. You just never know.
I think that's another problem with the Ox. He's a little bit too versatile for his own good, isn't he?
Yeah, I agree.
No one knows. His old man says, I say it every time, his old man says his best position is through the middle. But he's grown up at Arsenal. Most of his games have been out wide, haven't they?
But if Aaron Ramsey gives the ball away too much in the middle, then Ox is, I think that's if he wants to play through the middle, physically he's got it. But my God, does he have to work on his ball retention? Because
it's a tough position to hold down at a top European club, though, isn't it? Centre midfield.
Exactly. Whereas England, I'm going to make a bold statement here, and I apologise to fans of international football, but it's England, so fuck them. I think Arsenal are a far better side than England will ever be. So it's all right saying, "Oh, well, he plays well for England." Well, that's because England have got some very average players. So
I think Everton are mostly better than England, mate.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
Gimli.
Yes.
Hello. You all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Lovely.
Just
do anything nice today?
No. Went out and picked up some fish for the fish tank. Yeah.
Any chips?
No chips.
Fair enough. Okay.
Do you want me to answer the question?
That would be good. Yeah.
For me, I can't see who Oxlade-Chamberlain replaces in that team. He hasn't. Sounds really harsh because I'm not down on him. I do really like him, but I would have expected to see a lot more from him. I think he's going to go down the same route as Theo, where he's going to be there and thereabouts, and he's going to get games, but I don't think he's ever going to set the world alight. Things have got to change if he does. That's my answer.
Okay, talking about Theo, and a good one from Neil McKeown. There was an Arsenal player called McKeown who went off to Dundee, I think. 10 years of Theo, discuss. Too many years of Gibbo, ? Oh, I can hear Kris itching to answer that one. Go on, Kris.
10 years of Theo. It's gone by quick, hasn't it? Really has gone by quick. Theo he's an enigma, isn't he? Lovely bloke, sort of says the right things, does the right things. He can clearly do a job in a couple of positions, but every time you think, that's it, he's clicked, and then he has one of those games. And I think for the money we're now paying him, 130 odd a week or whatever it is, I do think that we should expect a bit more from him. Again, much with the Ox, I think a lot of people have immediately jumped on his back very, very fast. It's I think John made this point as well on the radio the other day, that it's very quick. People are very quick to forget he scored an excellent goal against actually may have been Tom against Man City, and that's the Theo that we know and love. My main concern with Theo is that he still seems to me like the player that we signed all those years ago. He doesn't seem to have taken his game to the next level, and he's still very much reliant on pace in behind. And if you don't get him in behind and you don't exploit his pace, he can be a bit of a passenger, and that's maybe where he might want to look at himself, as Giroud did, to be fair, and realise, I need to come deeper. I need to learn a trick. I need to be able to adapt my game and go on to another level. And I don't like the idea that because we're now playing him wide left, he's suddenly ineffective. You're playing for Arsenal, you're putting on that shirt, and you should be able to adjust your game to play where the manager puts you. And if you wouldn't get started up front for every game at another club. If he'd have gone to Liverpool or Man City, there's still no guarantees he'd have played every game up front, because the manager will look at his pace and think, well, he can do something for us wide. So I think he just needs to get his head down and do what Giroud did, weirdly, when he took his place. Just work hard and get himself back in the side.
If you look at his goals this season, he's got 5 in 20 all competitions. Last season 7 in 20. Season before that 6 in 18. But then the season before that 21 and 43. Geoff, any idea how he can recapture the form he had in 12-13 where he got 21 goals? I mean, admittedly 5 of those were in the League Cup, probably all against Reading. But yeah,
Theo is just, it's so tough, mate. I honestly, I've said it from day one with Theo, last 3 or 4 years at least, that I just think he don't realise what a player he can be. I think he has got everything. He's got that blistering pace. He can finish when he hasn't got to think about it. But what I see with Theo a lot in games where we really, really need him, he goes hiding. He doesn't really look for the ball. And I think that's a confidence thing. You need players when they're playing up top. You need players that are prepared to go and hunt the ball down. They want to get involved in the game. I don't see that from Theo. I see him hiding out on the wings, unfortunately. And I just wish the penny will drop, and he realises what a terrific player he could be. I just don't think he's got the confidence. It all really does come down to bottle. I might be talking out of turn there, but it is only my opinion. But I do think he could be an absolute worldie because he's got everything. But I'm not sure he's got the bottle.
Geoff, sorry, Dan, I just wanted to ask Geoff. Geoff, this new contract that he signed, was it two years ago or so ago now? He's not getting any younger. Do you think that if we keep it as under Arsenal's tenure, do you think that he would be tempted to move him on if the what I would call a higher level or a more consistent level performer became available? Do you think the club would be open to looking at it? Because sometimes a player just needs a new challenge to start their career off again, if you will. And I just wonder if...
What is he now? Is he 26 now?
Then he's 28.
It's 28, isn't he? Yeah.
Really? Well, yeah. He's maybe got one big contract left, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know what? It's a difficult one, isn't it? I really don't know. I don't know. I think obviously Wenger likes him because he's been at the club for so long, and he was singing his praises in the press conference. I think it's early on today about Theo. 10 years at the club, but he's just got to step up because he's in a position that we do need people to step up and be a match winner for us.
Do you know what would be really interesting, Geoff? If and when we can get Welbeck fit, it'll be very interesting to see who the manager turns to if we're a goal down with 20 minutes to go and he's got both available up front.
Very true.
That'll be really interesting.
I mean, he does give you that other option, though. He's got that bags of pace and he can play up top on it. Not necessarily on his own, but he has got that pace. He does change opponents' thoughts on how they're going to prepare for the game and stuff like that because he is, he's dangerous, isn't he? And he can finish. If you put him in front of goal, 8 out of 10 times he does finish. He does, he'll put it away. But like I say, I just wish the penny would drop because he's now got to step up because otherwise the game's going to pass him by.
Do you realise that he's already got more? He's played more games than Bob Wilson, George Graham, played more than Liam Brady, played more than Fabregas, Stapleton, Lukic.
Amazing.
He's played
amazing stuff.
320 games, 81 goals. More players he's played more than Ian Wright, Sanya, I was reading it. Sanya, Perez, Van Persie, Rocastle, and Clichy, Rosicky, Silva. I mean, Rosicky's been there twice as long. He's only played 245, not twice as long, but 245 games. Gimli, do you think, like Kris was saying, he needs to learn that you can't just run down either wing as fast as you can, get there and then turn a 90-degree left or right, try and make a little run and then get the ball taken off you? What does he need to do?
See, this is interesting because this week I put out a poll question from the podcast account. Quickly, just asking, Walcott has been at Arsenal 10 years today, so we ask you the question, has Theo become the player you hoped he would be? When he signed, he came in with such a hype. We all remember the Theo chants. And he's well loved from day one.
Do you want the results of that poll?
Yes.
760 votes. Has Theo become the player you would hope to be? 17% said yes, 83% said no out of 760 votes. That's quite condemning.
And I know, I think it comes down to Theo as well. And I spoke to quite a lot of people that replied on that poll. And I think it's down to consistency. And one guy pointed out, and I can't remember which one it was, and if you're listening to this, I apologise. But he said without pace, Theo would have no game. And unfortunately, I'm probably more inclined to agree with that. I do think that if you took pace away from Theo, I think that would be his game gone. And that's
he's only 26, not 28.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I thought so.
27 in March, so you've got to ask yourself, how much longer has he got? Because 27, 28, 29, those legs aren't going to be able to keep making them tearing runs for as long as that much longer, are they?
But he has, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got better over the years, but he's not got better at a rate which I think is acceptable.
True.
If we'd have had the money that we've got now 3-4 years ago, I do think that he would have maybe been replaced.
So do you think we'll end up similar? If we got a £25 million bid from Liverpool, would anybody take that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would.
Because if they're looking for a replacement for Sturridge, aren't they?
If you think,
can you replace him for £25 million though?
Yeah, but if you put that
Campbell.
if you put that 25 million, together with what we've already got, then maybe, and it depends what sort of player you want. Because if the trouble is that if you sell Theo Walcott, you get the support base will be divided. Some will say, great business, we got good money for him, replace him. Others would say he's English. And then as soon as he had gone, you'd then get another divide, and you'd say, right, we got to go big now and sign that world-class player. The same one that that wasn't available last summer could potentially come up again. And if you think about wide forwards, you're looking at Royce, you're looking at maybe Griezmann, depending on whether you utilise him wide or centre forward.
That's where I'd go, Chris. I would be more than happy. I wouldn't get rid of Walcott unless I know that the replacement was going to be better than him, and then it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're selling Walcott to bring in someone that's exactly of the same ability and that doesn't really stand out any more than what Walcott does, what's the point? You might as well just keep Walcott and carry on with him.
Yeah.
But if you bring in a Marco Reus, someone that you know is going to score goals, I know he's got a bit of a checkered injury past, but I would personally be happy to put, another 45 million or 40 million to the 25 that you get to Theo, go out, buy Reus, I think.
Would you swap him with Daniel Sturridge?
No.
He's only got one leg.
Yeah,
No.
It's we've got enough injury.
Daniel Sturridge is apparently
West Ham
retiring, according to our good friend FK.
He's what? Sorry.
He could be retiring, Geoff. Apparently,
Really?
He's been battling it for 2 years now. Every time he comes back, plays a couple of games, and he's knackered again.
A lot of it's in his head, though. I think he's one of those that he's one of those that dictates when he trains and how he trains. And I think Klopp
got annoyed.
Just for some trivia, I was an apprentice with his father at Birmingham City. His name is Michael Sturridge.
Look at you name dropping, eh?
Good lad. No, good lad.
What was FK's tweet, Gim?
He basically alluded to something of the fact that there was a cheeky whisper going around that basically Sturridge might be able to get fit again, but he would never play any amount of game time to be called to have a comeback or even it be called a success. So the word was going around that he was going to call time in his career at 26, I might add.
I can't see that.
I can't see that. There's too much money in the game. The only thing, like I said, with Theo, to sort of round off, I suppose, from my side, is that you're never going to... If you sell Theo Walcott, you're essentially saying to the market, right, we've sold Theo Walcott, we're on the lookout for a replacement, so put 15 million on top of any transfer we're looking to do instantly. That's like, right, okay, the price goes up. So I think there's more likelihood that we would sign a younger player with potential who's sort of like, 21, 22 that we could get out of a club and build on. And that's almost what I'd like to see, because would that maybe drive Theo to be better? So I'd almost like to see us maybe not spend massive, but maybe just sort of mid-range, and then say to Theo, right, you've got genuine competition now. But equally, if he wants to play up front, then you need to sign a striker, don't you? So it's a tough one to work out.
Talking about Walcott, Kate, two things. These lot have all said that if we got 25 million offer, we'd take it. I kind of agree with that. So on one hand, if we do that, then he's bound, whatever club he goes to, he's guaranteed to play as a striker. He isn't going to move unless he gets that. And also they were saying you need to get a replacement. Personally, I think Campbell is a good enough replacement. He does more down that right-hand side than Theo has done in a long time, with backup of the Ox and maybe even Nabry. What do you think to that?
Do you know, I actually probably agree with you, Danny. And I've changed my opinion on Coquelin because...
What are you going to say on me?
No, on Campbell,
I thought you were a twat.
Oh, I never thought you were a twat, Danny. We're not always, anyway.
I did.
Yeah, I know.
I think you're all right, in a way. But, no, I changed my mind on Campbell. I never really... When he first came in and he was still finding his feet, I was a little bit dubious. We've waited all this time for him. He's not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. But now I do agree with you. I think he could make an impact and he could take over in the Theo role.
I thought you were going to say more, meeting Kris.
Is that, I'll save you, his attitude, Campbell, whatever we think of, whatever we thought of whether he was... There's too many people that sort of jump on a soapbox and go, well, Wenger's lucky, he wouldn't have had Coquelin if he hadn't been desperate. Well, does it matter? We've got a player he's come in, he's taken his opportunity with both hands. He's now a legitimate first choice. I know there are still some people out there, John Welsh, who don't think he's good enough, and I get why you'd want an upgrade, but the kid's come in and he's done a really good job, and for me, like as you say, when Alexis gets fit, I'd keep him in the team ahead of Theo and just say to Theo Walcott, look, this is what you need to do. You need to give us more, and Joel Campbell has given us more. Fair play to him.
I do think as well, Kris, it's his work ethic as well. How many times against Stoke was he getting back and challenging for the ball? And
Exactly.
I think for me...
Leaving Monreal stranded.
Yeah, he struck a really good relationship down that right-hand side with Bellerin, and they complement each other. And I think with the pace in that team, especially down that side, it's going to cause anyone you go up against, problems.
Yeah, and he's probably going to get better as well.
Yeah.
See, when Theo was playing on the right, he was leaving Bellerin stranded. Now he's playing on the left, he's leaving Monreal stranded. It's annoying. Right, very rarely do we get enough questions from Lady Gooners. So from Jan Cross, what difference do you think that Welbeck will make to the team when he comes back, and do you think he will play much? No and no from me. Kate.
She's gone.
Oh no, I was answering someone's question on Twitter. Sorry.
Look at you.
Puppies. What was it? What was the question?
Oh, you tit.
I know. Sorry, I can't multitask.
Jan Cross, a fellow Lady Gooner, says, "What difference do you think Welbeck will make to the team when he comes back? And do you think he will play much?" I said no and no.
Don't think he'll play that much, and I don't think there's any call for him to play unless we get an injury, and I don't think he'll have that much of an impact on any of our future in the season.
Oh, good. Right, you needed 3. You need to keep this concise. So good luck, Kris. You go, try.
No, I'll keep it brief. The opposite. I think he'll make a very big difference because...
Oh, Jesus, everything I fucking say.
No, I just do.
Up is down.
The biggest thing for Welbeck is can he get fit? Because we've only seen, he's on the comeback trail. If he can get fit, he's got a place at the Euros to play for, which will motivate him. He's got a title to play for. And again, even if we can get 6-7 games from him, you've got to give Giroud a bit of a rest at times, and I think Welbeck might be that sort of missing link from the substitutes bench. Bringing him on with 20 minutes to go, I think he could make a really big difference. I hope he does, because I like the kid.
I'm just looking at one of the injury sites. It says comeback unknown. So there you go.
Yeah,
no idea.
Wait for him to be in pictures in training. I mean, Geoff might know more than I do, but
And it also says Wilshere unknown, Rosicky unknown, Coquelin unknown. We know that Coquelin and Rosicky are back training now.
Yeah, Rosicki's and Coquelin both pictured today, and I think from what we hear, Jack is running again. It's just a question of when he gets integrated into the training. But Geoff, do you know how long Welbeck's expected to be? Is there any updates on him?
Full training next week, definitely.
There you go then. So,
answering the question, I do think he'll get game time. Problem is, he's been out such a long while now that we really do need him to jump in and hit the ground running, so to speak. We can't carry any passengers. That's the problem, being so late in the season. So he's going to need to get going as soon as he gets in, really. And if he can do that, I'll definitely think he'll make an impact. I mean, he's got great enthusiasm for the game. He's got great engine. He goes up and down, doesn't he? And, I don't think he's a natural goal scorer, but he'll cause problems. He's got great pace, so hopefully he can do it.
Gimli.
I agree with the boys. I think it'll be massive to have him back. As Kris said, if he only plays a handful of games, how handy is that for us to have someone that's fresh coming in at that point of the season? I think it gives us a massive advantage on our rivals. Because Leicester have had to go with what they've got all season. They haven't really struggled with injuries. But we'll have Cazorla, Coquelin, Danny Welbeck, Wilshere, all coming back at a time, when the legs might be fading a little bit, and you'll be dropping players and switching the team about. And I think it gives us such a boost in the title race that you'd be an idiot to say that Danny Welbeck returning is anything but a massive boost for Arsenal.
How long is Santi away, Geoff, as well? Do you know what his timeline is?
Didn't he come out and say that Santi wasn't progressing as well as they thought?
I be honest, I haven't seen anything, so I don't know. But I think we've missed that ability to just hold the ball in midfield. And it'll be interesting to see what the manager does if we get Coquelin back, which I think Dom said in the group the other day. Okay, he's running now, and that's great, and everyone will immediately go, "Oh, he's available for Chelsea." We probably won't see him for, I would imagine, another 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe the Burnley game is a sub, perhaps. But if and when he gets fit, fingers crossed, it'd be interesting to see if the manager sticks with Ramsey, or if he decides to sort of keep it Flamini and Koch, or whether he plays it risky or not. Because the Coquelin Ramsey thing that everyone's crying out for, we're very quick to forget it really didn't work at the start of the season.
Do you know the last 3 Premier League games he played was against Chelsea in the 26th of February, 26th of April last year, played 14 minutes. The 11th of April last year, 8 minutes against Burnley and 17 minutes against Liverpool. So even when we did have him, and he played 1 minute against QPR, 3 minutes against Everton, 25 minutes against West Ham. So even when he was fit, he wasn't getting games, and he was playing centre forward, left wing, left wing, left wing.
That's Welbeck, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So even when he was fit, he wasn't starting, and he was playing out of position. So I don't know. I don't have much hope for him. Should I move on?
Do it.
Are we all done? Good. One final question, because we've got to get on with this, from Jamie Taylor. How fucked are we having to play away to Everton nearly 48 hours after playing away to Barcelona? Geoff, and I'm sure you'll have a moan on this.
No, well, so I missed that first part of the question, Dan. Sorry. Tell me again.
Said, how fucked are we having to play away at Everton and then 48 hours later away at Barca?
Well, it's going to be tough, isn't it? There's no doubt about that. But that's what you've got a squad for. You have to deal with it. You're going to be in these top competitions. You're going to have to deal with it. It's as simple as that. It is going to be tough, though. Everton's always another one, always a tough away fixture. And then we've got to play away at Barcelona. But again, if you want to be in these competitions, you've got to have the squad to deal with it. We'll have to just get on with it. You never know. We'll have to see what happens, won't we?
And how about, while I got you, them moving the Leicester game? How out of order is that?
Yeah, very true. But, it was on the cards, wasn't it? 2 top teams at the top of the league. I thought that about a week ago. I thought, you know what, they're never going to... I mean, it wasn't even televised, So I just thought that was going to happen.
And will the FA reimburse people who have paid for travel tickets on the trains and somewhere to stay in hotels and that lot, or will they tell the fans who help this game keep running to go fuck themselves?
No, they won't give a monkeys, would they? They just don't care about stuff like that. It's a liberty, though. It's terrible being so close as well,
I read on Twitter that someone was taking his son to the first ever game, which was going to be Leicester. Or is it Leicester? Yeah, Leicester away, and he bought the tickets and the train tickets. Now he can't go. So just wasted money, because they don't give a shit about the fans. It's only the money they care about. Kris, have you got anything to say on those things we've been dribbling on about?
Not anything to add to Geoff. I mean, it sucks, but fixture congestion. I mean, we've got some tough away trips between now and the end of the season, and it's the oldest of cliches. But if we want to win the title, we're going to have to go away and get points. So
Are they Gale cliches?
Gale cliches, yeah. The ones that leap out at me. the North London derby away is going to be massive, not just for the points, but Gim touched on the psychological factor. Sunday's going to be massive for the obvious reasons, and we go to the Oily Stadium, don't we? And that's going to be huge as well, because if you take points from those 3 games, particularly 2 or 3 wins, I think the momentum will take us through. But we don't really know how strong this group of players' character is, other than what we've seen so far this season. And on the whole, it's been pretty good. You know, the Southampton away spanking, we came back and won the next game, albeit a bit fortuitously. So it'll be a real test of our resolve, and it also depends on who strengthens before the end of the window, because some of the quote unquote lesser teams might end up getting some better players, so it'll be tough.
Kate, anything to add to this before I hand it back to your worst half?
Nope, I wholeheartedly agree with Kris.
You ready, Gimli?
Worst half.
Here it is. It's all over to you.
Fat prick.
Oi!
Right then.
Hurt my feelings.
I don't care.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Right, we shall finish off then with some shout-outs. I am going to go first. My first shout-out is someone that won't expect it. It's Brian, who is at Gunner Faithful. And quite simply, just because he's a fucking lovely bloke. And
I've heard of that name. I don't know why.
He's a nice guy, Brian is. I would highly suggest following him. That's at Gunner Faithful. And my second one, I promised him, he got back to me after I'd done my shout out, but I promised him this week. So it's at AFC KDM, top gooner. So go and give him a listen. That's my 2, and we shall go to you, Fat Man.
My one's going to be to the host of, I think it's Gooner Ramble, Gaz?
Giles.
Giles, I'm reading it says Gaz, GZA. He did explain that was a thing from... Oh, no, I can't bloody remember what it's from. Anyway, they suspended his account because they're twats, because he tweeted goal clips, and he had quite a big following before. He's a lovely bloke, so go and give him a follow at Gooner Man N5, because he's only got 734 followers, and it's only today that I realised who he is. So, formerly GZA the Rambler. Yes, I think it's from Gooner Rambler.
Okay. Kate?
My shout out is for someone who I was replied to, who distracted me from the question earlier, Sue Faulkner, who is at Evergreen Lady. She's asked, Evergreen Lady 8. She's asking me about the puppies because her kids want one. So we're just having a discussion about puppies. So that's my shout out.
And if you want puppies, they are available. So just get in contact with one of us.
Oh,
yes.
And I've got another one as well. Can I have another one?
Yeah, do it.
It is Dazza at Dazza AFC, who is Darren. We all know Darren.
Yes, lovely Darren.
He's getting in on the Jazz Hands Act.
Is he?
Yeah.
Comes natural to him, though. He's one of them sort.
The king of the trolls. Geoff?
Yes, indeed. I've got a shout out for a friend of the pod, Jimmy Slate, which is Jimmy Slate _. I mean, you should really get him back on the pod
nice
sometime.
Guy, Jimmy. I do like Jimmy.
He's a nice guy, and he's well worth a follow.
Yes, we'll get Jimmy involved in deadline day at some point. He's more than eager to come on, and we'll see if we can't get him back for a show in the next couple of months. Our guest list is like manic, isn't it, Danny?
It certainly is, sir.
Kris, don't carpenter the shit out of it. I know you probably got about 10.
No.
I want to thank everybody.
No, obviously...
Long John Silver.
Obviously, I'd like to thank you two for inviting me on as usual, because you're
piss
beautiful.
off.
No, I'll get my tongue
Arse licking will get you everywhere, Christopher.
Woohoo! No, just a shout and a plug, if I may be so bold.
As long as it's not a
breakfast.
A butt plug. The shout is for Mr. Jockman. I'm sure you're all aware of him.
Wee little jockey.
Wee jockey. Yeah, lovely bastard.
His handwiches.
Indeed.
We love Jockey.
Jock is at Jockman, JOKMANAFC. You can also look at his website, which is thehotstepanovs.com, where he writes some very excellent blogs.
Are you going to mention his Jock's Thank You Bear?
It is Thank You Bear,
If you tweet him, you'll get a message back from his Jock's Thank You Bear that definitely isn't run by Stokes.
That sounds like a group of people that have got way too much time on their hands.
That's probably they'd probably admit that themselves, actually, if you ask them. But yeah, a shout to Jock, and with regards to that, he very kindly gave a blog that I wrote out, as did Geoff, I should say, and indeed the other Geoff, a retweet and some very kind words. I've written a blog for another podcast that I do, which people will be aware of probably, which is the footballhipsters.co.uk. And if you go to blogs on the tab, I've written a little piece on Angel Di Maria, and people know I'm quite a big fan of French football. And I took the time out to write a blog, so if anyone gets a chance and you've got a few 5 minutes and you're bored, give it a little read and let me know your thoughts. That would be lovely.
I will find it, retweet it, read it while I'm having my morning poo, but I ain't leaving you no nice comments.
Oh, that's fine. No, I very carefully disabled the comments because some bloke called Matt would come and spam it otherwise.
What, is that the same dude that when we post these to YouTube, he always makes some sexual reference to Gimli?
He's wrong. He's wrong. Sometimes he peers through my window late at night. It's a bit creepy, to be honest. Especially I think live on the first floor. It's just weird. I
think he said the other week that if this was a podcast host orphanage, he'd take me home. So all that's left then is really to remind you about our transfer deadline day special that is going to be on the whatever date it is,
February the 1st, Monday, February the 1st.
Lovely. We had quite a few people come back to us say they wanted to be a part of it.
We do know we're not signing a single fucking player. We know that.
Yes, we obviously we know that Arsenal aren't going to sign anyone that day. So if you want to send a message to the podcast account telling us we're wasting our time, we fucking know.
But we do it because it's nice to speak to you, Mongs.
Exactly, and it's a nice chance to have some of you on, hear some of your Arsenal-related opinions, and it's just a fun day in general. We don't do it because we expect Arsenal to sign anyone.
But it is £10 if you want to come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have Geoff on the week before the window closes and not just stick a stick in him a little bit, can you? Surely you can poke him a little bit. At least people will send us hate mail otherwise.
All right, Geoff. I have to ask you the question: do you think, quite honestly, Arsenal are going to sign anybody else in this transfer window?
I honestly think El Neni will be the only one. We might sign a couple of youngsters.
Nigerian youngsters, by any chance?
Maybe, but I don't think there's anyone else out there at the moment. Unless a superstar comes to light, something drops on his lap, like Kris said earlier on, Wenger. I don't honestly think he's going to find another striker. You know what? I'm not particularly sure. I think we got enough to go ahead.
If I ask you the question, Geoff, if someone that interested him became available, say a Royce or a Morata or a Cavani, do you think he'd take that chance if he was presented with it?
Yeah, if a top striker come to light and was available at a reasonable price, I think it's a no-brainer. He's been looking for a striker for 3 years. There's no reason why he's still not looking for a top-class striker.
So you heard it here first. But you can join us on transfer deadline day. Something might happen, but it's a good laugh. You can shout at us, you can ask us questions. It just turns into one massive day where we just lose the will to live at the end of it. But it's fun. So join us, and I'm sure I will get my puppies out.
It'll all be on live on YouTube Hangouts as well.
Yes, it will be completely live throughout the day. We're thinking of starting at lunchtime and going all the way through till 11 o'clock at night.
11 will be ABW only, though, won't it?
It will be, apart from with special guest Michael Price. But yes, the slots that we're doing are 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Depending on how interested people are in joining us, we might be able to chuck a few more in between there.
You can't do it on your phone. You need a headset and you need to have your own Google Plus account. And we'd preferably like to try and set it up the day before, not on the day. And if you let us down, you're dead to us.
Yes. If you let us down, that's it.
Yep. Gone.
Well,
apart from our official wrestler who let us down last time, but
it wasn't his fault.
No, he's allowed to. It wasn't his fault. And plus, he'll come and choke down the shit out of all of us. So he should be making his first appearance.
Exactly. Look what happened the last time we made him angry. He put you in a wheelchair.
Oh, jeez, it was awful.
I know. Shit really did go down. Right.
It went down and back up again.
I'm ending this.
Are you? Good.
Yes, almost close to ending my life. Oh. Right, so That was... No, I should thank you. Thank everyone for coming tonight. Not you, Danny. You had
I
to
have
be
to be
here.
here. Yeah.
Right. So
Thank you for being here.
I have to be here also.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And keep it Arsenal. Good night.
No, cheeky monkeys?
Bitches.
No,
cheeky monkey bitches.
No, cheeky monkey bitches.
Gwym.
Oh. Any wise words from Kate? I might leave it on.
Say something rude, Kate.
Don't ever say anything rude. Cunt.
Yes, you do.
I'm more concerned about me scampi because they're burning. So
You're so middle class, Geoff.
Say hello to the dogs, Geoff.
leave that one in. So God
Dan,
bless you.
Dan.
Get it up tonight and I'll post it.
All right, cheers,
She
Geoff.
just said the
Cheers, Geoff.
cunt word.
I know.
That's twice in that podcast. Ooh.
What was the other one?
I said Chelsea were cunts.
3 times you said it.
Why? What was the other one?
4
just
times
said
don't
it a
make you a
third
lady.
time.
Oh, true. I'm no lady.
You are. You're lovely. I'm ready to go when you are. Do you want a quick rundown of the show?
No.
Because let's be honest, it's first
I'm
of
a
all,
human beatbox.
pretty much human shitbox.
Hey.
Intros, then Danny for scores and loan watch. Then we talk about the Stoke game. Let's be honest, I don't see how we can get fucking even 20 minutes out the Stoke game.
2 minutes.
I don't even know how you fucking did it with a radio show, Chris, to be quite honest with you, because I was sat there.
Deluded.
I fucking lost. But a few key points to that is basically we were shit because we didn't have Mesut Ozil.
Oh, I forgot to ask the listeners for questions.
I did.
Oh, well done. You fucking...
So there should be
ginger
at
star.
least 5 questions on there. But so yeah, some of the questions for that: poor refereeing, no Mesut Ozil. Iwobi came on and changed the game. I asked, did he impress you? Ox got his chance through the middle.
Good question here from Pete the Gooner, the PA Gooner. Why do you hate Chelsea? Fuck me, that's an hour on its own.
Yeah. There's gonna be some swear words.
He's always good for a decent question or two. We have had him on, haven't we?
No.
No?
No.
Well then. That's me put to fucking bed.
And then we're going to look to the Chelsea game at the weekend. Just basically saying Ozil and Alexis is back. Coquelin's back in full training. Get some predictions on that.
Another good question from Kurt Ice.
Then a little bit of transfer news. 3 players that I've got that have been linked with us this week. Granit Xhaka, Andrei Yarmolenko, and Adrian Rabiot.
Don't say Rabiot in front of Kris.
Rabiot.
Can anything make you block out tedious people?
Crack.
Heroin, because you don't know where you are.
I don't think so, because I've been trying with it, trying it for Pat Nevin every week, and it never seems to work. So.
Although, magic mushrooms.
I try to block out Alan Smith every night for 4.5 hours, but it don't work.
Hey, nothing wrong with him.
Oh, he's a cunt on FIFA 16.
She tries to block
Sorry,
out the
excuse
old
my
boy
language.
from Big Brother as well. Dear 34, and Matt is upstairs recording a podcast.
Being a prick.
See, I told you.
Who's typing?
Not me.
Huh?
Sorry. Me?
No, I'm just wondering.
It was me.
Are we starting yet, Kim?
Yes, we're starting.
Oh, cool. Well, I don't remember you saying hello and welcome. That's usually a giveaway that we started.
Well, I heard... I'm blaming Chris because he was tappy-tappy.
I thought it was you tapping. I thought,
it
there's no way you know that many words.
Every time I get the blame. Right. 3, 2, 1. Hello.